Hey guys, Grant here from dropshipsocial.com. Today I'm going to talk about some basic design techniques for your Shopify store. So we'll jump in. Alright, so I'm not a designer, I'm not a graphic designer by trade, I don't have any qualifications in this industry. The main thing is I'm just trying to give you an idea of what I've done to my stores over the last few years and what's worked best for me. So I suggest using one main color for your Shopify store and then combine that with lots of neutral colors so that I usually select that main color to represent my brand. So there's quite a few tools online where you can research what colors mean. So go online and research what colors mean and find a color that best represents your brand. Then combine that with lots of neutral colors, you know, like your light grays and charcoal, and never use just flat out black on your page. It's just way too harsh. Use a really, really dark gray. And yeah, lots of neutral colors like that combined with your main color. If you are going to go with a color palette that's a bit more in depth, so if you want to use a few different colors, I would usually go to a color palette generator. Unless you're an artist and you know exactly what colors go together, I'd go to a color palette generator like Canva. Have a good one, Canva color palette generator. You can drop a photo in there that represents your brand, and it will pick out the different colors from that photo and generate a color palette that's really good and works well. So think about that when you're doing your colors. Okay, so I always use a white background for my stores, and it just creates a nice, clean, modern look, and it just doesn't look cramped. If you use lots of dark colors on the background, it just looks really closed in and cramped and doesn't look clean. And always use the white background. However, I do separate that with dividers, light colored dividers like a light gray, or even the color blocks on the background. I'll use a really, really light color. A light grey or a light tan, even something that's not going to intrude on the look of the website at all, but you can tell it's separating the content. So keep that in mind as well. I always stick to one font family. Okay, people get crazy and they use all different fonts and it just looks a complete mess. All right, so I'll use a sans serif, which is a modern font like Open Sans. I use that one a lot, and it's just a nice, clean, modern look. If you're going to do a blog and you're going to write in a blog, sometimes people might use a serif, which is a more traditional look where it's, the curlier writing on the ends, and it's just easier to read over a long period. So, but for your main part of your website, use a sans serif, like a modern font, like a Open Sans, like I've said, and it just makes it look much more clean. And don't spread your font right out over your website to the edge. Okay, it needs to be sort of 1/3 the way across, in blocks down the page, and don't put too much in. Okay, people just string it right out across the page. It's very difficult to read. Okay, so still in the body font, I usually keep that to around about 18 pixels, and it's just seems to be the optimum size to be able to read it easily, but without looking like kindergarten got in there and drew on your page without a massive font. My last tip is I usually always crop my images to fit the space that I'm going to put them in, and that's the reason for this. Is some different types of themes, you'll drop a photo in and it'll fit to that space. It'll stretch it or distort it. You just don't want that. People drop images in and they don't even think about changing them or don't know how to change them, and you can tell it's very, very amateur and it just looks bad. Even if it's just stretched by a little bit, you can tell, your eyes can tell that it's not right, it's not quite right. So make sure you crop the images before you put them in, just makes it just look that much more professional. Alright guys, so that's it for today. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, head over to our social network at dropshipsocial.com and join the conversation. So that's it for today. Thanks guys.